大家好，我们现在是在纽约的市政厅公园啊，市政厅公园。今天是2021年6月10号星期一，美东时间中午的12点18分。我们是在纽约，this is 纽约 Manhattan， 纽约 City Manhattan 的City Hall Park 啊，这是纽约市政厅公园。我们正在这里有一个支持杨安泽的一个活动啊，背书市警察亚裔警察工会。
So I think one of you guys is leading off, right?
You want to lead up? Oh, I lead up? Okay.
All right. Let's go with you.
All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am delighted to be before you today to make a significant announcement. My name is Hugh Moe. I'm former Deputy Police Commissioner of the New York City Police Department during the tenure of Ben Ward, the first African-American police commissioner in the history of New York. Former district assistant DA under Robert Morgenthau, a legendary figure in New York judiciary, as well as district attorney. And today I am honored as the chairman of the advisory board of the Asian American Police Executive Council of the NYPD to endorse Andrew Yang as the next mayor of the city of New York. We are active and retired captains and above of the New York City Police Department, Asian American Police Executive Council, APEX. Asian captains and above make up over 12.5% of the captains in the New York City Police Department. And 9% of the uniformed services. Today, APEX is honored to endorse Andrew Yang as the next mayor of the city of New York. We believe Andrew has the character, integrity, and the trust to be mayor. We have faith that Andrew's number one priority is public safety, to make the city safe from violent crimes, hate crimes, and shootings. We have faith Andrew will reorganize the NYPD to rebuild trust between cops and New Yorkers, particularly communities of color, to refocus the NYPD mission to ensure New York recovers to be a safe and prosperous city, firmly grounded in equality and respect. We have faith that Andrew will reform the NYPD from top to bottom up into a highly effective police force that provides public safety and serves racial justice. We have faith that Andrew will not make promises and don't deliver like your typical politicians of this city. As an outsider from politics, Andrew will put the people's interest ahead of special interest. Finally, we have faith that Andrew, as mayor, will defend and support the good police officers in carrying out their duties to make the city safe for all. Today, we are fortunate that we can elect a new mayor who has the vision and creativity and can-do approach to lead the city to recovery. Andrew is the only candidate with bold vision and solutions and not beholden to the traditional political interest groups of this city. The politicians and the bureaucrats have failed the city of New York. New York needs change. New York needs change. New York needs a new mayor who will break the status quo and to lead the city back to recovery and to provide public safety to all. Andrew is a uniter. He is an honest broker. He is sincere as could be when you see him, when you meet him, and when you see him talk. Finally, we as Asian Americans in law enforcement are proud to support and endorse Andrew's candidacy to make history as the first Asian American mayor of the city of New York, especially in the midst of rising anti-Asian hate crimes. We urge all New Yorkers to put aside partisan interests and priorities and to vote for Andrew Yang for mayor. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon. I'm Chris Monahan, the president of the Captains Endowment Association of the NYPD. I represent approximately 25 active and retired members in the rank of captain, deputy inspector, inspector, deputy chief, police surgeon, and deputy police surgeon.
2,500.
2,500. Andrew and myself has had many conversations talking about a lot of interests that particularly affect the city. Some of the conversations we agree on, totally. Others we do not. However, I do respect Andrew for a person who is willing to have a difficult conversation with, right now, a very unpopular profession. The police officers and being in this profession is just getting harder and harder each day. Our elected officials have let us down. They cast law enforcement as enemies. Andrew does not. Andrew realized the need for the police to have a vibrant city. We have spoken about many different issues. Crime is number one. It's real. It's affecting our communities. It's affecting our neighborhoods. Our communities have spoken. Our neighborhoods have spoken. They want to be safe and secure. We have spoken as police unions to the very same communities from each part of this city, and they all say the same thing. They want the police. They need the police. They welcome the police. Our conversations about crime and disorder in our communities have led to the underlying conditions. It's not all about the hardened criminal. All right, there's a lot more issues in our communities, and we could talk about the hardened criminal, and we need to take them off the street. But we talked about homelessness. We talked about mental illness. We talked about quality of life. We talked about the revolving door justice that are occurring today. It always has occurred, but it's more transparent today, this revolving door justice. We talked about accountability, and accountability should be to our elected officials. We should be holding our elected officials accountable. And we could do that when we go to the voting box on June 22nd. And there should be consequences. There should be consequences for a person who feels bold enough to take a gun out in the middle of the afternoon, fire shots near our playgrounds, near our schools, in our communities. There must be consequences for that. But we're not talking about consequences for everyone. We talked about homelessness. When there's a homeless stealing bread or food, they're at the end of their rope. They're at the last straw. They just want to eat. And what we do now, we take them, we put them in the criminal justice system when somebody wants them arrested, and it's just a revolving door, comes right back out. We talked about services for the homeless. Maybe when they're when we have them, we could get the services they need. We could get housing they need. We get job training they need. We talk about mental illness. Once again, mental illness. When the police come in contact, they're at the end of their rope. They're off their medications. People are calling 911. Once again, they go into a hospital, they come out of a hospital. We need the resources. We need the resources to help them, to give them the help that they need. After September 11th, our city came back. Today, we need an outside business entrepreneur to take a hard look at our city government to ensure our city's economy returns. That man is Andrew Yang, and the NYPD Captains Endowment Association is proud to endorse him today.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much. stand up here a little bit closer. It's all good.
We're going to back you up.
Oh, no, it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel safer. Thank you, Hugh. Thank you, Chris. I'm so proud to accept the endorsements of the Apex and the CEA today. We all know that public safety is the most important thing in our city right now. Violent shootings were up 100% last year over the year before and are up 70% again this year. This past weekend, 2 people were killed and 19 wounded in a single weekend. This is unacceptable what is happening in New York City right now. And it is not just the shootings, it is the assaults, people being shoved onto subway tracks, the hate crimes against Asian Americans and Jews and other groups. These are the things that are destroying our confidence in our way of life here in New York City. This is what we have to turn around. We all know this is the most important issue in New York right now. A number of weeks ago, I was riding the subway, and a Latina woman came up to me. She had a sweatshirt on, and then she showed me her badge. She pulled up her sweatshirt and showed me that she was an officer. She was in plain clothes. And then she leaned into me and said, "Andrew, we need someone to speak up for us." She said that the officers who are tasked with protecting our lives don't feel like they are included anymore in their own city. And I heard this woman, and then I heard the dozens, hundreds of New Yorkers who said to me on the street, "We need the police. We need to see police officers when we're walking our streets, when we're riding our subways." Think about the division that has happened in the city. It is threatening to destroy us. If you have a mayor and a police force that are not on the same page, we are seeing the results right now. This is something that we can change. A number of weeks ago, I said that my first act as mayor will be to go to the police force and say to them, "We need you. Our city needs you. We need you to do your jobs professionally, responsibly, and justly. And as you do this, the people of New York will have your backs. I will have your back." And I'm so thrilled to be here today with you and Chris and the other officers to say, I don't even need to wait until I'm mayor. That this is the moment, this is the rebuilding of trust that our city has needed and has been waiting for months, for years. It's also a signal to how complete the failure of our current leadership has been, that we have allowed it to limp along with this dysfunctional relationship while the people of New York have suffered, while the officers have been waiting for someone to step up and speak up on their behalf. We all know we need the police. The city needs the police. We have to stop treating these as political questions when the way of life of our city is on the line. I'm a parent. I have 2 boys, and we want and deserve safe streets. We want and deserve safe subways. We are going to bring the city together. We are going to rebuild the morale of the police force. We're going to let you all know that the people of New York need you and want you to be able to do your jobs the way that we all deserve. I have concrete plans for how we can activate the police force, get shootings down, get hate crimes down. You've heard from about some of the conversations that Chris and I have had and that Hugh and I have had. Want to detail a few of these proposals so that you can have a sense as to where we should be heading with the 21st century police force. The gun violence in our city is completely unacceptable, and 3 out of 4 shootings in Brooklyn right now are going unsolved. We need a new anti-violence and community safety unit of plainclothes police officers who will go into neighborhoods and get the guns out. We need to properly resource the Gun Violence Suppression Division. Right now it has 200 officers. It should have at least 200 more. And we need to have police officers be a visible presence on our subways so that people know that they're safe when they're getting around our city. And that includes actually getting on the subways and doing a visual inspection. So if you're riding on the subway, you'll see a cop pass by, and then you'll know, hey, there's a cop on this train. You know who else will know there's a cop on the train? Anyone who wants to make trouble. I mean, these are the kinds of things that we know we need. As mayor, I will be working hand in hand to make sure that New Yorkers are safe every single day. I was thrilled to last week get the endorsement of the firefighters of New York City who took an oath to keep our lives and our homes safe. And I am proud to receive the endorsement of Apex and the CEA today to say that we will keep New Yorkers safe. I'm going to be the mayor who's going to be dedicated to making sure that we and our families are safe. We do have to rebuild trust between the NYPD and the communities of color, but let that process begin today. Again, we do not need to wait until January of next year. We do not need to accept these failures 1 minute longer. This campaign is an opportunity for us to fix what has been broken in our government. And I do want everyone to reflect on what this means, really. That the police officers have seen in me and my campaign a chance to restore a working relationship between the police and the mayor. And this is what the people of New York have been waiting for far too long. Let's give it to them, am I right? Let's deliver to them a city that's working and a police force that's working for us and our families every single day. So proud to be with you both. So proud to be with you all.
Same here.
Thank you. Happy to take some questions.
Mike, Aaron, Julia. Hey, Andrew. I wanted to ask you about some statements that Eric Adams made last week.
So proud to be with you both. So proud to be with you all. Thank you. Happy to take some questions.
So, Mike, Aaron, Julia. Eric Adams made last week. Suggested that the attack.
根本听不见。你也听不见。
Police captain and the officers that have worked with him for years have chosen to endorse me as mayor today. This, to me, should tell New Yorkers all that they need to know about Eric Adams and his leadership.
Mr. Young, when it comes to public safety, between a retired New York City police captain and yourself, why should they turn to you?
Eric Adams has built his entire campaign around the fact that he was a police officer years ago. But then when you listen to him talk about policing, sometimes he says he'd be a Giuliani mayor on crime. More recently, he said he'd be a David Dinkins mayor on crime. We're not even sure where he stands on policing. And again, I'm standing here today with the leadership of the union that Eric Adams was a member of for years. Think about what this says about who they're deciding to place their trust in to keep New Yorkers safe. If you can't listen to the police captains or the officers who worked with Eric Adams for years and have dedicated their lives to keeping us safe, to me that says all you need to hear.
Captain Moynihan, please. Captain Moynihan, what portion of your membership wanted to support the borough president? Have that split come down in the decision between Mr. Yang and Mr. Wilson?
Well, I'm not getting into the vetting process, but one of the things that I think Andrew. I was just saying that Andrew. One of the things that Andrew, and I think goes back to the past question. Crime evolves. We police differently than we did 100 years ago. We police differently than we did 20 years ago. We police differently than 10 years ago. And I think we saw a nationwide outpour that policing needs to change again. And we can't go back to the same old police tactics we used. That's where a new, fresh look comes in. It takes a look at the criminal justice system. It takes a look at the police department. It takes a look at the other agencies. Other agencies have been failing the citizens of New York. Other agencies have been tasked or are tasked to help the mentally ill. They have failed. Other agencies have been tasked to help the homeless. They have failed. Our communities outcry. out for is for quality of life. And it's not these folks. They just need help from the appropriate resources. And I think we'll just have the same old police that we did in the 90s and 2000s, and it's just not going to work. And that message, was very, to me, 31 years with the police department, it was said very clear that policing needs to change. I think we need to look with new ideas.
Eric. Tell us, why did you not endorse Eric Adams?
We picked Andrew Yang for the reasons I just said, and I'm not going into my hour vetting process.
Did it have anything to do with the fact that he was actually a reformer from university years ago, and that runs through
Absolutely.
Okay, and what do you disagree with Mr. Yang about policing? You mentioned that was different.
I can speak to this. So Chris and I have had a number of conversations about my proposals for the NYPD. I proposed having a civilian police commissioner to help advance and evolve the culture. I proposed having new police officers live in New York City, which I think also would be positive about the culture. I proposed recruiting New York. They can apply too. They can move.
They can move into the city. It's not a deal breaker. It's not that, like I said, we struck a conversation. And if the mayor gets the legislator and they pass the law, so be it. We'll follow. In their footsteps, they want. And that's okay. We'll just constantly change it.
I love the evidence. But yeah, we can get out of towners to fly.
Let me say something. We as an outsider, we look at the TV advertising. Eric Adams is against police department. The advertising very clear. He has a problem with the police department. So we need a good police department, and we have to respect police department.
Right now, the only poll that anyone should be thinking about is people showing up at the voting sites and casting their votes. Almost 36,000 people voted this past weekend. People are voting right now. So that's the race I'm worried about. And I think every candidate feels the same way.
Last question, Emily.
Mr. Yang, you in your remarks referenced about the street. How's that different from the anti-crime unit that was began before, and how's that different from the anti-crime unit that Eric Adams wants to make into an anti-gun unit?
I believe that there is a need for plainclothes officers to go into neighborhoods that are suffering higher rates of gun violence to get the guns out. And we can, again, evolve on past practices. We can handpick officers who have certain types of records, give them directives and supervision about what their goals are. So I think that there is going to be some elements in common with something we've done in the past, but we're also going to include some new elements that policing experts have said to me would help us be able to get guns out in a way that works with communities and their leadership.
Would you endorse the endorsement of the CBA or the SBA? There's been some debate about whether candidates separately need endorsements for all three.
I am thrilled to be endorsed by both Apex and the CEA. These are some of the officers that will keep New York safe, and I'm committed to making sure that New Yorkers get the public safety that we expect from them. Again, I'm standing here with
Do you still fully fund the
Thank you all so much. Thank you.
我看一下，这叫我看一下什么东西，我看，我在直播，啊，好，现在是在纽约的 City Hall Park 啊，一个喷泉，这里是一个。 场所啊，是在纽约市这个好，现在是支持杨安泽这个活动，现在已经结束，他们正在合照留念。是一个有名的一个记者啊，是一个美国电视台的一个有名的记者，跟着杨。哎，你好，又回来了，你好，你好呀。谢谢。哎哦，广西的这个主席你好，李阳也过来了，谢谢谢谢。这个啥是你们啥都有办。
Hey Lucas, can you get this one too? Yeah. Thank you.
OK，thank you。警察工会的这个警官工会的主席是吧？谢谢。这个后面就是应该是这后面就是这个市长的这个市长的办公厅了啊，在这里面办公。如果成功当选的话，如果不管哪位，那么就可以到这里面去办公了啊。好的，今天我们就刚才直播断了啊，现在就继续再播第二段，然后咱们就现在很多中外的记者啊，就是美国记者啊，纽约市的这些大台的记者都过来了啊，都在采访他们这个。Sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
Hey Andrew, I want to ask you about any more questions. I'm sorry, Jake, we'll get you out. We said really excited.
很多记者都来到这里啊。咱们我就会跑到这儿。还有赶过来支持的是这个。还有我们广西三总会的这个主席李央、翁新亮这温州这个，还有这个，好，剩一个啊，OK，警察工会的这个主席，警官工会的主席。好了，今天的直播就到这里结束了啊，谢谢大家，谢谢。我们是在纽约市政厅的City Park 给大家做现场的直播，我是1STV直播主播纽约 Jack， 谢谢大家，这是第二段啊，前面有一段中断了，因为信号的问题，这是第二段，谢谢。